I'll just turn off Steam so I don't get annoyed by people. You can hear me, yeah?
Yes.
Okay. Do you see my screen?
Yes.
Well, we should probably talk a little bit about what you want to improve on.
Right, it's so useful, so I don't have to open the game and like fucking do this 3-2-1 bullshit with
No.
demos. Nice.
And I can like stream and play music if I want, and you shouldn't be able to hear it.
Yeah, I can't hear your music.
4, 3, 2.
Yep.
Damn. Well, there you go.
You are the only. Is this you?
No,
Yes.
that's Valro.
Oh, okay.
I've got the demon hat.
That's you.
Yes, that's me with the pinger. I'm in the
Okay.
wing.
I just want to quickly get something out of the way first. So in the meantime, you tell me like what you think you want to improve on, I suppose.
Okay. I wasn't really super consciously like thinking of what to do, what to improve in this game. It was more like this game was more like an application, like doing like a practice exam after studying for a week. In this game, I really focused on just not dying, being useful, being in the right place, and like also shooting people. Like, because I'd always like specifically in the mid-fight, I can't just like stand there, wouldn't really know what to do. This game, after watching a lot of like videos and like just asking questions, I feel like I had more of a better idea of like what to do. Obviously, keep in mind, it's like after like started fucking 3 weeks ago.
Yep. Okay. Well, we can just. I guess we'll watch through it. I'll probably be watching a lot of it like third-person cam,
Yeah.
so I can actually see what like's got to go on. But
Yeah,
sometimes
yeah.
I do first-person.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about like AMDM. I feel like I'm pretty good at like training that and like learning that as I go along. Like,
Yeah,
not,
I'm sure you will.
Yeah.
It's good that
So-
you crouch there. One rule is just try and like go as
As
quickly
fast as I
possible.
can.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know. Okay, let's see.
I don't really know the intricacies of this map so much. I try and take high ground. Just trying to keep tabs on the soldiers. I see he's on the left. I call that.
Nice. Yeah, that's good.
Yep. I know this guy's gonna bomb my medic, and I'm pocket, so I should be protecting my medic.
Yeah. It's good that you had used your pistol at the start, because I think something like Scots probably do that's bad is they just spam the 3 damage scatters,
Yep.
and soldiers could bomb during that time potentially.
Yep.
So especially the wing, like it's perfect for just going da-da-da-da at some kind.
Absolutely.
And you
Absolutely.
yeah. So good that you're keeping lookout. You said you're keeping tabs on the soldier. That's really
Yep.
good too. You
Yep.
ideally want to try to do that for both of them.
Yeah.
If you're gonna
That's
play
what,
a
I remember
more
you told me that
defensive
with like Snake Water. You like when you like to do is like you like to make sure the 2 soldiers are, but I can't remember if I saw him or not. Obviously, you see Crypto's behind the fucking thing, but
Yeah.
I can't remember.
You
if I
see my
saw him.
cursor, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can see it.
Yeah, excellent.
Yeah, so like that dude's there.
I really like how you're just keeping tabs in the meantime.
Yeah. I'm using sounds a lot too. This game's really good with like sound.
Oh, you made one into the alley though for some reason and got picked off.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm pretty sure there was no reason for him to be there, but
Yeah. I think I noticed we're losing the fight, so I kind of run back. And then I'm like, okay, everyone's dead, so I'm gonna run back. Maybe help my scout a little bit. Nope, I'm gonna run back. I'm gonna pick up my medic.
you can do that. Well, one thing that I think is also fine is if your medic dies early on mid, you can just do the whole suicide into the enemy team sort of thing, and you just try and get a critical pick, especially on these 2 classes.
Yep. Okay. Cool.
In particular mid. Or you can just come back if you want to like stat pad. So that's
Yeah.
the point being, you've got options. You don't
Yeah.
really want to be dying late because that could mean the enemy could get into last earlier.
Yeah, and I've got a kill bind and shit too.
Yeah, nice. That's good. They're really important.
Grind. I know they have ad because the medic didn't die. Boober, I should say.
I'm just kind of looking. Yeah, I'm kind of just looking at your cam at the moment. It's good that you're like looking around for trying to get.
Yeah,
information.
my crosshair placement's like improved so much. I kind of know where to look and shit now a bit better now. I see soldiers jumping. I probably should have been in that area and that the flank scout bay there, but that's okay. Lost.
Yeah, that is. Unfortunately, I don't get to see your damage numbers due to it being SCV.
Right. Okay.
Your team's kind of losing.
Yeah.
That's alright.
I was actually really like a little happy with that because I didn't chase him. In the past, I would have definitely tried and chase that guy.
Yeah. One thing I probably would say is, you know how you fought that initial soldier and you kind of missed a bit on him?
Yeah.
That was alright, like other than missing, but like the second soldier you fit, I think you probably could have just tried to keep a better position, like be on the battlements or like on the ring of the point or like on the high ground.
Right. So that was like against the crypto soldier, yeah.
Yeah, try not to compromise high ground, especially versus
Yeah, okay,
soldiers.
right. I don't know too much the intricacies of heavy weapons though, but I've noticed like just don't like feed with heavy too.
Well, don't also feed into them like these guys are doing.
Yeah.
Well,
so before with heavy, I'd always used to sit on the point, and then I realized like just like my presence there is like, you know, if I'm on the point, they can just kind of focus me down. Where if I'm like around like cover and shit, I'm more of a nuisance. The brass pieces like better distance. I can chuck the sandwich and people can pick that up.
Well,
So
I run brass all the time. I don't know if I've talked to you about it.
No, you did, and I always run it all the time too. Because it just damage resistance, more damage. You're not really moving anywhere.
You basically force the enemy team to shoot you because by the time the Uber's over, you're like a real threat and they have to kill you or they get killed by you.
Yeah.
I think the secret to it is like you want to if they chase you with the Uber, you don't want to be dying instantly, right?
Yeah.
Which is why like I position myself near the spawn. So if they chase the Uber, if they run their Uber into me, I just run into the spawn and switch off force down heavy, and that's a good way of wasting the Uber. Or if they decide to go the other way and like try and fucking waste time on a sentry, then I can stay my ground and they have to like try and deal with me on the post, which is usually hard. The thing you don't want to do is be dying to like without being able to do anything.
Yes. It reminds me like fucking holding high ground in Dota, like nuking the waves and shit.
Exactly. And Lex.
Yeah.
I didn't even.
So I'm sitting here, make sure no one tries to sneak Jew past. Sorry, past.
Yeah, exactly.
We
don't say that word on stream.
Yes.
I might have switched off sooner if you had that sort of.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
Because you should not be getting back cap if that happens. And you're a pocket scout. So you're usually playing a big leading role.
Yeah. This game, because I was pocket, I was just trying to make sure I'm not obviously like around my. This is like my first actual game playing pocket after reading about it, so I'm just trying to be around my core being useful. I'm always trying. I'm like in my brain, I'm always keeping tabs with the medic is, so I can always tax him out. I think I lost tabs of my medic here.
Yeah.
Then I kind of stuck.
We can probably watch that again actually, if you don't mind.
Yeah, that was a little messy back then. Like my brain was like short-circuited. Jesus.
Our control point captured.
So it's you guys have a player ad, but the enemy team almost has Uber.
Yep. I think you should have just gone back.
Maybe like you know, I'm just gonna lower my volume. Holy shit! When the enemy's like in that sort of bad position and they're missing players, and you have this pretty major Uber descent, it's usually It's usually pretty easy just to kind of play a bit more defensively while still being able to force them.
Yeah.
It worked out perfectly for you because you got the force on them, and then you wasted the entirety of their charge. But you could probably still achieve the same thing while just doing it a bit safer and like just protecting your medic here.
Right.
And the demo just
so it's safe, but not like a pussy.
Yeah. You can. I don't think of it playing passively, but like playing defensively and just utilizing your like better position and your player to force them.
Yeah, so it's like when you have I don't know, I can't think of a Dota equivalent, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, sure.
You're biding your time for like the right moment.
You get behind them here, which is fine. But I think you had like plenty of opportunity probably just to come back to your medic and them. But it's not like but it's not like necessarily that this is an awful thing because you know, you might end behind them and just kill cunts. So we shall.
Exactly. Yeah.
But it's like it's not conventional, right?
Yeah.
And it's certainly like okay. Yeah, right. Well, that's a lot of space for your team, but
yeah.
You can see it's far more like a risk-oriented sort of play, more chaos sort of shit.
Yeah.
The control point is being contested.
What is this? Okay, 3. Really should go blind to this shit.
Yeah. That fucking Dota buff really spoils you. I think he's like, we got Uber, let's go and kill them all. I'm like, cool. Like, I want to focus Scout, I want to focus like the medic demo.
Yeah, usually if you've got a massive Uber, kills are kills, and that's fine. I would say that medic was really out of position at the start. He might have just been a free target. After the soldier. But, typically you want to be taking, if you have Uber, you pretty much always want to be taking it with another teammate, because like there's no reason really not to, because you're not trying to just get a massive Uber trade against them.
Right.
Like your goal should just be to utilize your you know, fucking invulnerability on multiple classes to crush cunts.
Yeah, okay, right.
Because like two class, how would I say it? Like two classes focus firing targets or shooting targets together is greater than the sum of its parts, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, okay, right.
They're gonna like more effectively kill than just two individual classes.
And also like they kind of like they're like a Venn diagram of pain. They both help each other, and also like who bring the scout from someone else. Like the scout can bring the medic.
Yeah, exactly.
They're highly mobile. Yeah.
Well, that's a big thing, right? The scout like chariots the medic Uber.
Yeah.
To chase up like usually the heavy class. Although you can do like double scout Ubers too.
Yeah. The main thing is that it's just highly mobile and rolls people over.
Yeah.
BKB.
And you're good at corralling enemies as pocket scout, which makes it easier for your explosive classes to shoot them, and then you can finish off classes shot by your explosives, so your heavies as I call them.
Yeah.
So far I've only seen 2 Ubers from you, but they've both been like solitary, which isn't really
ideal.
Nah. Yep.
Low.
You know, if you crouch just before jumping, you get more height than if you jump and crouch.
Yeah, I do now. I experimented a bit after that game, because that annoyed me.
It's weird, but it's true. Okay. I think your mid was probably way out of position.
Right, okay.
But also, like, that soldier probably needed to be shot by more than just you, yeah?
Yeah, okay, right. So, like, my thing is, like, I'm the one who sees him first and calls him if he's jumping. Like, ideally.
Yeah, and you tried to shoot him and you quickly started shooting him, so, like, it's hard to blame you there. Like, I'd say, like, someone else needs to be either helping or your medic just needs to not be in such a shit.
The idea was, like, that's the main thing.
Yeah, your job is to shoot them early and call them early.
Yeah, I'm always trying to watch that choke, because, like, I know they like to jump that way with, like, the double speed jump.
Okay, so you should be screaming they're coming in.
Yeah, I'll scream that. I'm sitting here so the medic can like run through shutter if he wants.
Yeah, like even your mid here was out of position again. Like he was on the point. If like if the enemy team knew that, they could have just easily popped through with a demo scout and crushed this dude before he retreated here.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
It's you always want to like use an Uber advantage if you can like freely crush the enemy medic, because then you can just kill the enemy medic with your Uber ad, and then just consolidate and usually win like another 5 off that advantage.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about you here. I'm talking about.
Yeah. No, that's right. Yeah, like even all the classes together helps like with the macro understanding. I think here we should have. No, never mind. Different part of the game. Well, in a different part of the game, at that point we did have an Uber, and we were deciding whether to go out or not.
Yeah.
Then in hindsight, we should have gone out instead of backed up. But this is the wrong part of the game.
So this is just a pug, yeah.
Yeah, this is a pug.
Typically, when you have major Uber, the sad part of me, like you always want like what do you call it? A like sentry really early. Right. Like, this is probably really. This is probably more knockback. Well, it does a lot of things. Like it forces early, it juggles, and more importantly, like the enemy have to expend their Uber to deal with it.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
But the thing about the sentry is it takes time to do it. And which is why like typically like your flank scout wants to be building a gun much more earlier than this.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Cool.
Nothing to do with you. But
yeah. No. But it's good to keep in mind for a big flank flank.
You mid definitely out of position again. He just ate shit to an enemy Uber. So.
Yep.
Yeah, this weapon's fucking cancerous.
Yeah. It always does way more damage than like I think it should do. Like I always kill people in
it can 2-shot scouts. Close range equals goes and they're dead. But they should lose you should lose this because they had a really elite medical damage.
That was just messiness at the end. I don't mind this map too much except for the mid. I don't really like the mid for this map.
You can take like I think better position than just that little hut. Like I like moving to the right side across the point, being more aggressive. But
yeah, okay, so that house thing.
Yeah, you can be on the house on top of the shed above cafe, the tall roof.
Yep.
I find that being in the center, low ground, it's really easy to get overwhelmed.
Yeah, this is how I always felt.
Like here, yeah, you can if you're going left, like climbing up high ground here, it's really nice because it means you're going to be you see everything, you're safe.
I think I called it like all in shit position. Can we collapse them? And then I call like the soldiers. Yeah,
this is really good, dude.
I was looking for that dude this entire game.
So it's very hard for him. Did he get a frag? No. So we'll talk about that. When you're on the high ground, it's very easy for you to see stuff coming while being safe.
Yeah.
And naturally, since you're at a higher elevation, when soldiers jump, you're going to be closer to them, so it's easier to shut them down.
Yeah, and they don't want to be wasting their rockets on me.
Yeah, well, maybe, but yeah, they might shoot you. You don't know.
Yeah,
but like, since you're higher, you're obviously going to be closer to them, but you're also going to be closer to like the arc of their jump a lot of the time, which means like, it's going to be easier for you to hit the shot as well.
Yeah.
Which is just useful. And that's good. Like, I think you played that good. You just well me. Took high ground, looked up threats, that sort of thing.
I remember BSJ like talking about in Dota what feels good. You know what I mean? And like taking high ground and stuff. Like always, like it always feels good.
Sure.
You know, like it just feels good. Like I don't feel like, oh fuck.
Yep. One thing I would, you're definitely right. Like things click definitely. It looks like your teammates went ahead before you, which is all right. Typically, you don't really want like the flank. Typically, you want the flank capping and like the medic and like the heavies going forward.
Yeah, there was a bit of disconnect. I feel this. Actually, no, not this game, but yeah, in general in pugs, I noticed there's like, especially low level pugs, there's like a disconnect with roles, like the messiness. But like that's alright.
Yeah, like the medic is the slowest class usually, which is why you want him moved up ASAP with his team so they can hold.
Yeah.
Because he's like he's the most one of the most important forward holding classes, other than like demo, because he needs to sustain his team.
Yeah.
And usually you're going to be there with him because you're the pocket scout.
Yep, I think we're going to Uber top, right? Yep. Focus demo, chase to make away. Cool, we have a sentry gun.
Yep, nice. Pretty good. I think you could probably be looking around a little bit more as you enter to see for targets. And maybe before you push, like quickly jump through the doorway, like do a jump into the doorway and back just to see if the enemies are there or not.
Right, okay, yeah.
And that lets you like have a better idea of who you may be killing, if you think it's free enough to do it, of course.
Yeah, that would just come with experience too, I guess.
And another thing I would say is like if you know which door you're going to be going through, just keep looking at that door if no one else is, so an enemy doesn't like. Because I noticed you were like at that top left door over here, top right door.
Yeah.
But you're kind of looking towards your team a fair bit.
Okay, right.
And that could mean that a player just walks around the corner and just puts a lot of damage into you, maybe forces your team or just like compromises your push too much.
Yeah, okay.
Because they want to do as much early damage onto you as possible, so your post Uber or your initial entry is going to be shit.
Yeah, right.
Good eye. He just rapes your medic.
Yeah.
You spotted him, so...
Yeah, I tried to call him. Because he always went like pop, but then he chose a different way and that caught me off guard. But also that will come experience though when I know like what soldiers like to do and shit too. Like at some point I'll probably learn all the rollouts as well. It's like a basic outline so I know like a basic way which way they'll take.
Yeah, sure. Well, it's not very complicated for Scout, fortunately.
I'm going back to pick a medic up. I don't know where the spawns are, so...
Right, they usually come through the choke side.
Yeah, okay. A lot of these pugs, I'm like asking, where's the medic? Where are we right now?
Yeah, sure. It's your first time playing this map?
It's like my second time, third time?
No, fair enough, that's alright.
First time like actually using my brain.
So, when they have Uber right there, yeah. So yeah, you do. So your goal really is just to kind of like escort the medic out while maybe building a bit, and you'll see your team it's their kind of job to be forcing them. You can pistol maybe if you want, but the most important thing is to get out without losing too many players, especially like your medic. Because like it's not just like about getting your medic out. You also have to get your players out if you get because if they retain Uber or even if they pop, they might be able to come into your second here with their player Uber advantage.
Yeah.
So you definitely don't want to like throw. Your team doesn't really want to be throwing when the enemy has advantage.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm watching for that show.
So they're trading, I think. The mid drop. Okay. Well, that's huge play by Birdo, man. Just
Yeah,
fucking
oh god.
raped cunt.
Alert. Our control point
Yeah,
is being captured.
You just walked back like when that
I think it
grass.
was you're nice and aggressive. Like you used your Uber to kill them.
Yeah.
You probably weren't getting enough fucking help from teammates to kill the enemies though.
Probably, that's also me to like call that if I'm pocket.
You did, yeah, but you also didn't see that soldier.
Yeah. But that also come in time, like the little like hiding spots. I was about to say bad bird.
Right. I might be calling for my team to be pushing off this honestly. Like when the enemy team's missing a player, this is I think one of the easier pushes to dry push.
Right, okay.
You can literally just like fly your soldiers through in your demo and just like land on them if they want to defend it, and they're missing a player, so it's really easy to kind of crush them, I find. But like,
Right,
you're not
okay.
going to get this in an open bug probably. But it's just something,
Yeah, yeah.
it's just something to keep
Consider.
in mind that even if you don't have Ubers and it's a stalemate, you can actually do things with player advantage.
Right.
Especially if it's major player advantages such as the
Scout.
demo man or scout. Oh, it doesn't really matter honestly, but anything's good.
Yeah, can't really go wrong.
Well, there's always the risk reward, but you can, you know.
Yeah.
That's probably a big part of on you. You're kind of like twirling
Yeah, I
around
just kind of looked around, yeah.
and not really being on the high ground looking for threats.
Yeah. I noticed it's kind of easy to get lazy with too.
Point is being captured.
Yes, it is.
Alert.
Yeah.
The control point is being contested.
When your mid's dead for this long, you might be a little undercommittal, like running back to try and pick him up and stuff.
Mm.
Like you can probably be helping out more. Okay, you know you got forwards. I think you have forward spawn here, don't you?
Yes. I just don't know what that meant, but that meant though.
Oh well, when you get you have the enemy midpoint. That means that your team is going to spawn somewhere further forward.
Right, okay. Makes
When you
sense.
have two enemy points, like you have their
Yeah,
second,
yeah, okay,
you
cool.
have 4 points. Then you've got the forward spawn.
Right,
At which
okay.
your team would spawn it.
Yeah.
If you have mid, your teammates are not going to spawn at your last.
Okay, so that's one that little thing. Right, okay. I legit didn't know
This
that.
doorway here is first spawn.
Right.
If you have middle, and if you have the enemy second, like over there,
Oh,
then your
okay.
team spawns here, forward spawn.
Yeah, 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 okay, right, right.
Forward spawn.
Makes sense. I think in my head I've been counting we both have similarly Uber.
That's good. It's good that you're trying to grind when too. That's like an important thing.
Yeah, I kind of.
One thing you don't want to be grinding if like your teammates are hurt though, because there's no point.
Yeah, yeah.
If you don't understand like the point, your medic builds Uber at his maximum rate as long as your teammates are below like fucking 97% of their maximum HP or something.
Yeah.
Oh, crits, okay. But yeah, if your teammates are low, like you don't want to be grinding. Because your
Yeah.
medic's it's essentially just hurting your team, and your medic's not building Uber any faster.
Right.
You're pretty passive during this. Like it depends on how you want to play. Like there are modes of doing it. Like some scouts, like clearly yourself, like to play very like defensive orientated pocket scout.
Yeah.
Which you know has its advantages in the terms that you're going to stay alive a lot more, and you're going to be able to like defend, probably keep your medic further back and be more defensive and stuff. But the risk is you're not necessarily utilizing your class to like go shoot cunts or whatever, and kind of baiting your teammates a bit.
Yeah.
I'm on the side that I'm way too aggressive. I need to
Right,
rein it in.
okay.
Like I end up like trying to make too much space, but I end up feeding or not protecting my teammates or something.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's about just trying to like find a good balance. This is
Alert. The control point is being contested.
ooh, that's close. Where's your medic at? Is he capping? I don't know.
I
Oh,
have
he
no
died.
idea.
Oh, he died to something.
Oh,
I don't know. Well, that's probably just not him. When you have an advantage, especially a medic advantage, you need to like make 100% sure that your medic's being protected. Because like,
Right.
imagine what the enemy's thinking when they lose their medic.
Yeah, they suicide for their mate.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, okay, cool. But the force nerve just so A word.
It's a hard weapon to use. It's very like team orientated.
Oh. Yeah.
I mean, I won the grand finals in terms, so it's not awful.
Hmm.
I'm not a huge fan of it, but
It's
it
a
can,
bit
it can be
weird.
made to work.
Oh.
It is awful. Where's your teammates, I wonder?
I think I thought we were going in. That's why I was so
They should have been.
super aggressive.
Our control point has been captured.
If you're really healthy, you can jump into soldier spaces like
Yeah.
that. And
I was trying to
feasible.
make him take the splashdown, and then he backed up, and then I
Yeah.
was like, oh,
You
back up.
did beef with it though.
Yeah.
Like standing here is like a fine spot if you just want to do a lot of damage while being very safe.
Yeah.
Like you can imagine a soldier here. It's not easy for him to hit shots.
Yeah.
They're all here.
There's also a health pack for me to jump if I wanted.
Sure. Yep. But if an enemy target's low, like especially a heavy class, you can just like fly into their face and make them self-pawn. But
Yeah. Take some practice. Watching sidelines. Usual. Getting ready for an Uber. I think Berto's calling for like we go in.
so this guy popped you. It's really important that you're like facing forward and looking above here, because if they know that players are coming this way, a lot of teams will just spam above
Do
or
the
jump
jump
a
over.
soldier.
Yeah, okay,
This guy
right.
got in because he
Yeah.
simply wasn't seen.
Yeah.
You have to like making sure that you're watching the
Yeah,
the
Z-axis and shit.
Yeah. And since you're team force, that means the enemy's gonna should have a better Uber here, or they retain it.
Mm-hmm. They're in a shit spot.
It is a shit spot. They should have like, what they should have done is like, as soon as your team came anywhere close and they were up here, they should have just literally leapt into their face and killed them with their their Uber advantage.
Yeah.
But it looks like they,
Control point has been
I don't know if they're gonna
contested.
achieve it. Yeah, they did end up getting a medic, but like, since the Uber was so shit in such a chase by the post of it, it was too bad for them, so they weren't able to do anything.
Mm. Then we get Earth 2v2, fucking everyone's dead, and it's like, go cap. We'll kill them.
Yeah, this dude should be capping, and maybe some other player. Like, you shouldn't be back here, this is wrong.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, you can get cap points if you want, but like, typically it's like you want the flank scout capping.
Yeah.
And then maybe, in this map in particular, you can maybe have like a soldier linger with him, like the Roma, because it's fairly easy for the enemy team to slip by and like stop the point. Which is awesome.
okay.
Like they could come through here or here or here or here or under and stop
Yeah.
maybe stop the point. But typically, you want like, if you optimally, you just want like flank scout here or maybe pain train soldier, and the rest of your team is like at last already like holding their spawn doors and shit and get ready for this to cap the last for free. Like,
Yeah,
you guys
okay,
could,
right.
like if you see like before these guys are even up, your team could have easily been in here and just locking off these doors.
Yeah.
And being on the point and having a demo here, or maybe soldiers here, that sort of thing, and you're on the point.
Yeah.
And the round would have been over already.
Right, okay.
And the soldier and the sniper wouldn't have been able to get into position either.
Right. So sniper is like for like sight linesy maps. Also, they don't have a medic, but it's because it's a pug.
Oh yeah, I'm not too concerned about what they do.
Yeah. Yeah, I try not to like play to like cheese the pugs. I try and as much as I can objectively play as well as I can.
That's
Sniper
good aim.
fire
And
priority.
you're pressuring the point here, which is good.
Yep.
It's like, even a
Yeah.
slight bit of cap on the point, you can imagine why that's useful, because it just
Yes.
forces
So
their hand.
fast. It's so
Yeah, you force their hand, because they have, a lot of them are just going to shit their pants and just like
yeah.
try and rush it, and that compromises their position.
Yeah, then explosives can spam on the point.
Yeah, and it's not good for them. You the enemy team.
I see that dude's on the right.
A jump I like to do, if I may, is like I go here and I just winger up to here. If you want to play right side, like you
Yeah,
jump
okay,
from
cool,
here to
cool.
this, up to this thing,
Yep, right.
and that's like a very good jump.
Yeah,
Especially
that's
if
a
you're-
nice place too, because you can see them come through the choke and everything.
Yeah, but if your mid's playing left side, you can operate here is usually okay, or you can even be on the point, or you can jump up to here.
Right, so there's
Or
places with sight lines and shit.
Yeah, you can even like at the start, if you know your team's going left, you jump up to this thing, and then
Yep.
you can jump from there to here, I think.
Oh, sure.
Or from, if your team's really going left side, you can also jump from here onto the point above, or
Yeah,
up
that's
here,
a
or
nice
or
solid.
anywhere around if you like.
Yeah, just options.
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
options. Yes. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can make it from the hut onto this.
Yeah, if I use the
they call it
wingman.
Tetris, if you don't know.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and you got a little bit raped here. I think it's
Yeah.
because he's. I don't know if he directed you or splashed you, but like, if you're on top of it, it's a lot easier to get not be hit if as opposed to down here.
Yeah, I can just like walk back on that reverse V thing, avoid the splash.
He probably just did one rocket you directly though. So that's a part of playing Scout. You're just gonna eat shit occasionally.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
It's good you're grinding here.
Yep.
We have lost the control point.
I noticed with this map too, it's hard to just roll into second point.
From a mid win.
Yeah.
Well, it depends. Like if it's a stomp, taking second can be pretty easy. I think.
Right. Okay. Actually, yeah, that makes sense.
For most maps, in fact, like especially when the distance between second and mid is short, those are typically the maps where it's a lot easier. Like a mid win on Gully, for instance, where you dominate the enemy team, is easy to push into second.
Yeah.
So, same for this map. Less so maybe maps like Granary, where like the difference between mid and second is massive. Lots of distance to cover, like that sort of thing. But typically it's about just how long it takes you to transfer between parts, and if the enemy team has the respawns and all that sort of shit.
Why don't people play Granary anymore?
I don't know. It's just out of flavor. I think it's still a good map.
I love that map.
Your mid's just still way out of position. But
Yeah, I focused the jumping soldier.
well, it worked out for you because the medic didn't flash their scat. But really,
Yeah,
they
okay.
should
I
have been
think
able to
I
crush
expected
you.
that too.
Like if I'm heavy here and I know they're coming in to kill me, I prefer to be further back. So if they chase me, I can get out. Or if they don't chase me, I can stay my ground.
So yeah, the brass base's damage thing too means there's more wiggle room with distance.
Yeah, that's true. But and typically you want to like be alive for the post. So if they do start shooting at you, your medic can be bowing you while healing you, and that combined with the damage reduction means that you can tank a tremendous amount of damage.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
But your team probably should lose because they have a player advantage, and you had no sentry.
Yeah. Okay. Right. So you have a sentry and a heavy, ideally.
Well, that's my go-to. I think I much prefer like having a gun and a heavy.
I'm offering sides of the map too, so it's like a kind of crossfire.
Yes, that's a big part of it. Yeah, the gun and heavy on opposite sides.
Pull him, shoot him.
So in this situation where like the enemy demo dies straight away,
Yep, just
that's a pretty. Well, not necessarily, but you can think of it like as a pretty major advantage for your class, because if you're on the high ground,
yeah, okay, right.
the only class that's like reliably good at doing damage to you above it is the stickies or maybe pipes. Rockets are hard.
Yes.
And then the scatter guns, but like scouts should be able to shoot you like regardless of where you're standing. That's how they work.
Yeah.
Although it does make it harder for them, because if you're up here and your teammates are elsewhere, they have to split up their vision and aiming and stuff, which can kind of compromise them.
Yeah, okay.
But the rule is, like, if the enemy's demo is dead, the best thing you can almost always do is get on the high ground straight away and just like, so that's going to neutralize their soldiers a lot, and it's going to make it harder for them to shoot you and for them to jump you. And it also makes it so, like, if the enemy team because a lot of teams will do is, like, if they lose their demo straight away, the medics and maybe the pocket scout will retreat while the soldiers sack into this team's medic.
Right, so I sit high ground and make sure that they don't.
Yeah, you can play like way more defensive on the high ground if you like. Because like, this is what I'm talking about, right? I don't know if red team's leaving or anything, but they went hyper aggressive after losing their demo onto your medic.
Right.
But you don't have to be aggressive in this situation, because your team should be winning a prolonged fight if you have
because they have no damage. The demo. Yeah, okay.
Well, that's the theory behind it. Obviously, this is like a low tier game, so it's a bit of a shit fest. But like,
yeah, that's okay.
Typically, if enemy demos died, you can usually just drag out a fight and just hold it. You don't need to like be pussy, but you can be very defensive.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because that's also a classic case of kind of just losing track of soldiers, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I can definitely tell. I just get lazy, like the game stamina.
I do too, man. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Or just distracted. Like TF2 can be pretty exhausting.
It's very exhausting.
We have lost the control point. Alert. Our control point is being captured. We have lost the control point.
Here's where I feel like we just fucking held the dicks for too long.
Yeah, this looks like a free entrance there, but your team didn't really go in.
Yeah, and I think in hindsight, I was like, we probably should have done it.
Yeah. So the idea of pyro is like, oh, okay, they popped in.
Yeah, the idea I thought it was they were gonna come in like instantly, and I wanted to like stall them a bit because I didn't think I'd be able to get a gun up in time.
Well, when you both teams have Ubers, typically the strength of the pyro is to like deny enemy sackers.
Right. Okay.
Because like typically when an enemy team has a player ad and it's even Ubers, right?
Yep.
Typically they're going to try and use that player ad they have to get in easier and then do a sack onto the enemy medic as they retreat to second to and keep their Uber. Like good teams would probably be sacking here.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Not trying to fucking.
Or they're trading, which is not necessarily a bad thing because if they do it really early, like before Bilto is going to be up, like if they get a pick like on Berto like they did and they trade in really early, that can be okay because they can like end the post.
Yes.
With a player advantage and win off that. But since they're doing this trade really late, Berto's going to be up, so this post play thing is really not that good.
Yeah.
But,
Okay.
like,
right.
If they were to do you know, just use their player advantage to get a sack into last and then retreat, that'd be a much better play, which is what Pyro is actually good against. Like, typically, if you were to be on Pyro here, it's because you're anticipating the enemy sacking and you want to deny, like,
yeah, okay.
Soldiers and stuff. The other case is like when you don't have Uber at last and the enemy team wants to push in and you want to like juggle and delay the Uber as long as possible.
Yeah.
So your team can win the post and the enemy team can't take too much ground. So those are the two instances where Pyro is usually run.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
Okay. You're kind of just pushing into the enemy there, unfortunately.
Yeah.
At that point, it's just you probably just want to fuck off and just spawn.
Right. Okay. So just abuse the fact that the fountain's so close.
Yeah. Sure.
Resupply and class changes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got the resupply bind, yeah?
No, I was gonna step it up.
Dude, holy shit, looks like me.
Burrow's really good. I think he's not even playing for a year too.
I think he's been around for a while.
Really? No.
Thanks, Doc.
So this is even players pretty hard to. It should be pretty hard to push out. Like this, it's a common theme that on most maps that like just the team that has like mid or the enemy second, the map creators intentionally give them like advantages in terms of like it's a better position for them.
Yeah.
Because they want the rounds to turn over, right? Because if you make it too easy for the defenders to push out, it can be like it can just lead to stalemates and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the Badlands. Probably.
Yeah, like pretty much all maps in general, it's much harder to push out than in. And that I think that applies to pretty much all of them.
Yeah.
So that means essentially that like the team that it's not a coincidence that the team that has mid most of the time,
right,
or the team that has the enemy second, like over here, they almost always get to make the first move. Right?
Yes, and there's different ways you can go to, and also like last is very like clumped. It can be rather clumped.
Yeah,
I know.
It's easier for the enemy team because if you look between like if you look at like maps at last, the last are usually pretty open like this, and then and then the intermediate area, like the area between like last and second is usually some sort of lobby. Like that's the case on this map and Process and Snakewater and Granary. You all know the lobbies that are in between last and second.
Yeah.
And it's much easier for us, the people who have lobby to bust into an open area than it is for the team in the open area at last to bust into the enclosed area.
Yeah.
So those factors combined with things just in like the maps are generally skewed towards the offending team,
Right.
just lead to like the fact that you're what's called the waiting team, I guess it's called in the situation.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
You're
right.
pretty much always going to be waiting for the enemy to make a play, and then you play off like that. So that's just a if you're defending, it pretty much means you're waiting a lot of the time, or waiting to react.
Right.
You don't get to be the proactive one most of the time. So I don't know if you guys know to treating it as Uber right here. It looks like you're just gonna.
Yeah, when I don't really like know how the game is kind of going. I just kind of like let people call and learn more. But
in fights like that, just try to not allow. Oh, you mid dropped. Well, I don't. That's not really your kind of fault, I suppose. But I won't talk about that because this is pug nonsense. But like typically, if you're down here fighting a soldier, don't allow him to take the kit off you because he just waddled into that. You probably
I actually did not even notice there was a kit there. Yeah, learning where the kits are will come with time too.
You just think of it the exact same way you treat like a power rune in Dota when it's spawning. Like you muscle around it, right? You don't allow them to take it, or you pressure them out.
Deny resources.
Yeah, exactly. So this should be around over. In regards to the spy, it's not really. Well, I mean, you could be looking around for it as a scout, but like typically it's the medic that's going to be turning around for that sort of shit.
Yeah, because I want to be watching sightlines.
Spies are hard.
And the medic can still heal even if he's turned around.
Yep, you should be shooting these as you enter in. That's your job. Or
cool.
And or your flank scout, because this is a problem. Because even though like you could say that they're not hurting anyone at the moment.
No, there's a dying area, and also like the soldier and demo aren't going to get rid of them.
Yes, yeah, exactly, and this is really useful for like especially like the enemy team's non-demos or just everyone really. But like if stickies are here and they're called, that makes it. This is really especially useful for the red soldiers because if they wanted, they could be jumping off this thing and landing like
on the stickies.
Like, or I would say like on the opposite side, like here.
Oh right, so I can't back up into the stickies.
Yeah, they could corral your medic into like a spot where they either walk into rockets or they walk into traps and shit. So that's a big part of like.
Right, the demo man.
Something that you could probably appreciate from Dota is kind of like corralling enemies into bad positions.
Yeah.
And that's a big part of stickies. Like if imagine there's lots of traps here, this red demo man could just be spamming pills and stickies over here, and that's really gonna like not leave your medic or your.
So that's like the strength of the class in general too, just like area denial.
I think that's the primary strength of the enemy, the demo man is like people. People kind of think of it as what do you call it? Just like dealing damage, but what you're trying to do really is to deny territory and area and stuff. Like
that makes way more sense. Okay, right. Yeah, because like the scout and soldiers like are more better for like primary damage, and like I feel like the demos like instant burst stickies. Like while they do damage, it's like
they certainly the damage is very relevant and it's very strong. I think they're more about just like taking area and taking away enemy position and resources and stuff.
Yes.
And that's primarily, I think, like his job is to deny position and compromise the enemy's position and what they can see to make it a lot easier for his teammates to take better positions to fight the players he's trying to deny.
Yeah, and you can also like deny areas around him too when you try and go on him by like carpeting stickies everywhere.
Yeah, I'm sure there's some sort of analogous Dota thing. But
I can't think of it, or whatever.
But short story, other than kind of talking about what
AoE spells, I suppose.
Yeah. The short thing is, if stickies on the floor, it's probably worth switching to the scatter and just shooting them. Yeah, I mean, you can do pistol too, but pistol, I miss that shit a lot, so I don't know. I like to scatter.
Yeah, no, I'm the same.
You're almost always going to kill a sticky if you like aim roughly near the scatter gun.
Okay, right. Makes sense.
But your team is rotating left away from the sticky, so that's a good move.
Yeah.
Nice.
That one I actually thought about, because I knew if I jumped up, he had very little options.
True, yep. It's very hard to shoot scouts that are above you.
Yep. Yeah, because you have to like put his... I think I learned this in Overwatch actually, with Genji. Like, they have to put their mouse up, and like it's like a sort of ceiling in like the first person, so they have to like twist their mouse up if you're jumping directly above them.
Yeah, it's you can definitely abuse like hard shots for enemies. Like as you just said, it's really hard. Vertical aim for most players is much harder than horizontal aim.
Absolutely.
Especially when they're aiming into sky with rockets and shit.
No splash.
And especially when you're like disorientating them by like moving around, so they not only have to aim like horizontally, but they have to aim vertically, and they're kind of rotating up top and stuff.
Yes.
It makes like hitting shots borderline impossible a lot of the time. So that's something to definitely
and they're like kind of stuck in one spot because if they move back to aim even further.
Yeah.
That's like I actually specifically learned that from Genji.
Yeah, exactly. One thing I would say is like once the enemy mid dies, you can probably be way more vigilant about sticking with your medic.
Right.
So, like, because enemy players, if their mid dies, they will just mong into your medic, right? They will, like they'll run up that staircase over here. They'll jump in from fucking. You don't know where enemies are gonna come from. They just materialize, right?
Yeah.
And it's your job to protect him, especially if he's like in the cross lines of these stickies and pipes and shit.
Yeah.
I would say let your soldiers like jump around and hold doors and stuff, and like probably you definitely just want to maintain your medic advantage unless you know you're gonna win a fight.
Yeah.
Like he's.
So would you say, I was gonna say, would you say a lot of this game too is like I was thinking more about the stamina thing because I noticed like when the game starts,
oh shit. There's no reason not to shoot those, right?
Yeah.
But go on.
Yeah, I was just gonna say with stamina too, just like I noticed playing these pugs, like this pug was like pretty good, and then the next pug was like an absolute clown fest. But also at the same time, the next pug I felt like I could have just been like more like switched on to. Like this game is very like exhausting now, especially that I'm using my brain actively.
Oh yeah, it's pretty taxing. There's not a tremendous amount of downtime, and also like, you have to obviously be focusing on your aim and your movement and stuff in fights, which is pretty taxing. In the state of the game. Whereas you can focus on shit in Dota, right? But it's not extremely mechanically intensive in the lane. But you still have to focus.
Yeah, Dota a lot of times I sit with like my leg up and shit hitting creeps.
I say, man, but like you have to be focused in Dota, but it's not like mechanically exhausting.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Or you don't need to be like hyper aware about shit.
Yeah. TF2 is a lot like just really actively thinking and stuff. Like Dota is very formulatic, if that makes sense.
And I think so.
Yeah.
It's good that you started coming forward here, like, but I wouldn't have gone back to that point. But other than that, like...
Yep, okay. I see sticky zone, the thing, there's a scout move.
One thing you did poorly here, I think, is that you hugged this doorway really hard, like on the side of it.
Right, so
this is extreme. Yeah, this is an extremely typical sticky trap.
Right.
And also soldiers love to just spam it, or even stand here and just do all that sort of stuff.
Typically
you want to like enter wide through doorways, and
right.
I really like to literally jump through doorways to like minimize the chance of getting juggled or splashed and shit.
Yeah, okay,
or sniped. Cool. So that's just a minor thing, but like you guys should win this because it's major player ad, major position, and major fucking Uber advantage.
We have secured the control point.
Oh, I noticed you kept the door, so I tried to get in.
If you suspect that you're not going to get a frag there, and you're scaring them into the point, into this spawn, you can literally just walk onto the point here and start capping it, and that even if you're going to have to back off because they're coming out or they have a pyre or whatever, that's just going to make tremendous space for your team.
Yeah,
so if they
were making them do something they don't want to do.
Yeah, exactly. You're forcing their hand. So you can just probably like be on this point and maybe shooting some stickies at the same time. If you don't think you can get frags on them.
I think, this is when I remembered like just get on the point, and then I remembered, I think now.
Yeah.
No, maybe it was a different game, but I just remembered like from an Eric video actually, like pressure the point with the scout.
Yeah. Well, anyone really can do it, but scouts are very good at it because they're mobile and they have it 2 times and they can shoot stickies and stuff. But like if you don't think you're gonna... You can like chase people if you think you're gonna kill them with charge, but if the point's open,
it's about point, not kills. Thrown.
Exactly, but like it's not necessarily bad to ignore the point if it's open if it's going to result in you killing cunts and being able to win the post with a player advantage. But like but if you think that the enemy's being super passive and you're not going to be able to frag them, oftentimes the best thing you can do is instead of chasing them with charges, just shoot stickies on the point and start capping it. Like tell your mid you're capping, and he should switch it off you. And that will often force the enemy's hand, and they'll probably have lost at that point.
Right.
One important thing I think is when you're coming into mid is you probably want to be looking at the floor like a soldier would, so you can actually shoot stickies. Like as I get to this point, I like to switch to scattergun and stare at the floor so I can shoot them and stuff. And then once I've killed a few stickies, then I might wing and jump to somewhere better.
Right.
But like it's very hard to like. When you're up in the air with the pistol, it's very fucking hard to shoot these things, and that's like your job. And the flank scope. So I like to keep scattergun out when I think the stickies are going to be landing.
Right.
As I do. can be
control
leaving
point
here,
is
that's
being
fine.
captured.
Yeah, that's good actually. That just looked like a bad DM fight from you and kind of beefing. Probably don't want to break like that.
Alert.
Yep.
The control point is being captured.
Enemy players will try and do that sort of shit though, but like when they know you're retreating and you have like a player to sad, they will try and punish you by chasing. He probably should have been going for the medic if he could, but he got you, which is like a perfectly fine trade. Like trading a soldier for a scout when you have a player advantage, like these guys did, is fine because it's going to make it much easier for them to probably come in because you're not going to be present.
The control point.
In general, like it's like chess, like a bishops and fucking rooks and shit. Like the scout usually is more important than a soldier.
Yeah.
The exception might be for holding last. I would say.
Yeah, the nuance to it. But yeah, I get that.
If you're gonna snipe, this is typically the angle that people use to hide in this spawn, and they watch top left.
Yeah, I was experimenting.
Yeah, that's fine. That's perfect. Or they're in top right and watching right side. The idea is you want to see like as much into a doorway as you can while being safe. And then,
abusing sight lines.
yeah, because there's a chance you kill someone. But honestly, I really don't. I don't usually run sniper because it's super risky. Like it's usually pretty low chance you're going to get off something. But you can go for that.
Map.
But yeah, I'd say. But you can go for the high risk reward as you want. I much prefer always like pretty much doing a gun or a heavy. Because I know they're going to be able to at least do something, whereas sniper, he might like fucking win the fight just by dropping some key class.
Right.
But it's usually a high risk thing to the point where it's not usually a tenable thing.
Right, so sniper is kind of like probably better if you're pushing into last in a stalemate.
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing necessarily wrong. Like hypothetically, sniper is the best class for defending last because he could drop like someone before they pop in.
Yeah.
But this is, people can't aim like that all the time, and they're gonna fuck up. So it's like high risk.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
I think the major benefit of having a sniper is, there is the chance that he does get a key pick, but it's unlikely. But like the best thing probably about him, the most reliable thing, is that he frightens enemies into popping.
Yeah. That's
he
what
has the presence. Like if I knew there was an enemy sniper on last, I'd probably just be calling for my team to pop in because like I'd have to, or I'd risk having to losing someone. So sniper has presence at a minimum, but like he doesn't necessarily have impact. I think that's the way to think about him.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, he's usually more suited to stalemate situations where classes can't bust in very well.
So he's the assassin's class, not the defense class.
Exactly. Although he can
be defensive,
and he can be offensive too. Like but
I get it.
He much prefers slow games that aren't moving, so he can like take his time to take a pick and be safe.
Yeah.
Nothing necessarily wrong with having a sniper on defense when it's even numbers, by the way.
I get that. Yeah.
Although this is a peculiar angle because you don't really see anything useful.
Right. Okay. Right. So I want to be peeking into the doors, not like across.
Yeah, because you want to be seeing the enemy, right? But you want to still be safe. Generally.
Yeah. Okay.
Obviously, the more you're exposed to the enemy, the more exposed you are. The more you see the more the enemy exposed to you, the more you're exposed to them most of the time. Like typically, you probably wouldn't be pushing up here by yourself because that's just you could just get killed.
Yeah.
But it could have been fine because since the enemy isn't there. But typically, you're going to be if you're going to be sniping out of last defensively.
Yeah.
You're going to be on their side because they're going to be protecting you and making space. That's generally how sniper goes. You have a spy, I think. I really like spies. He should not.
Yeah, spy's cool.
He should not have created that because they hear that.
Right.
Whoo! So maybe, potentially.
Well, here he goes.
This is a good spot.
Oh, here he comes.
This is the worst time for your team to be losing players here because the enemy team is mobilizing and it makes it really hard for your spy to do something.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Oh no, he's been spotted.
Oh.
That was unlucky, that second stab.
Yeah. But that's like the worst time to be sniping and spying. It's like when the enemy team is moving, either retreating or like sacking or like just holding or pushing.
Oh fuck! The damage is.
Yeah, it's powerful.
Yeah, okay.
But you kind of need the medic to keep the heavy alive.
Yeah, it gets clowny as the game's going. The attention spans start to get...
What's a good example? It's like, I don't know, Dota example, fucking... I don't know. Like, bristleback or something. Lots of damage reduction, but like, to make it effective, you need to keep the bristleback alive with like a wisp or something. I don't know.
And it's stacked. Yeah, I know what you mean. Radiance.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, accumulating like an advantage.
Yeah, but if you burst them all down and get rid of it, it's gone. Spectre maybe actually.
The dude shouldn't have been showing himself. He could have just lurked and then gone.
Yeah.
But
Alert. The control point is being contested.
we must be pretty close. Yeah.
I think it actually ends in a stalemate. Spoiler alert.
Fun. That's fun.
Which I definitely felt like, like when we finished the game, I was like, I did pretty good at the start, but I got lazy. And I think if I wasn't as lazy, maybe that would have been the stalemate. You know, it's a puzzle, obviously, but
People do that over again.
Yeah. I think this entire fight we were in a shit spot, so I was just trying to look around where people could come.
I don't need to elaborate why here is too shit. Is such a shit spot. Like you just can't see anything.
Three different ways to attack.
Yeah. Typically, you're gonna want to be up here as a scout, or here, or up here.
Yeah.
And maybe unless you have a big Uber ad, like you guys are close to Uber, and this is actually a good path to go right into the enemy team and kill them. But I don't know if you're gonna get Uber here.
I think he calls he's leaving under, and I'm like, okay, I'm coming.
Oh, that'd be a good time to take a charge into them if you.
Oh, I think he said we can go back in. I think. Okay. Yeah, there we go.
I don't like going for the anyone buck the medic.
Okay, right. So here's something I actually heard when people are just like, if it's the medic and someone, you go for the person first because, actually, no, wait, I'm retarded. I mean, I'm like chronic. So when I'm Ubered, I go for the medic first. When I'm overhealed, I go for the dude first. Is it?
Usually, yeah, maybe. Yeah, you can usually, yeah. I think that's fair enough to say.
Yeah, okay.
Because he can heal his target.
Yeah. But when I'm invulnerable, like
his target can't shoot you.
Yeah, so he shoot the medic. But when I'm overhealed, I want to kill him because then if I kill him first, then after my overheal wears off from the damage the other dude's doing, you can probably kill me and then probably kill my medic.
Yeah, and also like the medic is lower HP, and also
that too.
And he's going to be closer to Uber naturally since you've used, and he hasn't. He doesn't have Uber. What's the other thing? Oh yeah, if you were to go to the target first and then go for the medic, that means that like by the time you kill the medic, your Uber is going to be like far lower, which means that you're going to be far more exposed on the post. Typically, you want to be using your Uber charge I think, most of the time, if you have a Uber charge advantage on the medic and he's out of position, you want to be killing him and then retreating a lot of the time while killing targets to so you can consolidate on the post Uber. So make sure you don't like lose your medic. On the post.
Right.
So long story short, usually you want to use your Uber to kill the enemy medic if he doesn't have Uber, or if he does, you want to be using it to pop him.
And he also can't really get away from me.
Yeah, and then like once you kill or pop him, you can use your Uber to retreat and like post up, as I call it, or consolidate. So using that tail end of your Uber to have a better post Uber essentially.
Right. Okay.
Or get to a better position.
So a lot of the Uber is like the pre and post of the Uber as well, and I don't think I just let him fight because of the pug.
Yeah, that's a huge part of it. Like usually the pre-Uber is to like fucking get in, like against stickies and snipers and guns and stuff, like without feeding or rockets. And then there's the mid-Uber, which is what you're using to actually chase down cunts and shoot them. Fuck, I love this song. And then there's the post-Uber, which is usually like the consolidation part, where you try and like end in a better position with it while maintaining some sort of player advantage, whether that's numbers or just like key classes. I mean, you've probably played like you've had Dota fights where like a key target goes down, like a massive target of theirs, and then all you have to do is just like drag out the fight.
Not fuck up.
Well, that's the thing, right? Like they're in a desperation mode when they're missing their key classes or heroes. Like if you have the long-term advantage, you want to maintain that.
Yes.
So until it like just via attrition and stuff, I guess.
Yeah, you have like towers and shit,
Yeah.
something like that.
Alert, alert. Our control point
I
is
definitely
being
tell the
captured.
games get like just more like Dota games, when they get longer, like the stakes are higher because of buyback items and shit.
Yeah.
TF2 is just exhausting.
Well, TF2 is like unlike Dota or even CS:GO. Like the economy.
Yeah.
There's no economy. There's nothing that
Yeah.
actually like changes per round. It's purely just like momentum and the current strat and all that sort of shit.
Yeah, so
Probably the biggest thing is that changes in between rounds is the player momentum, the one that feels confident, the one that has
I
the
know
stats.
it's a big part in mentality, morale,
True.
attitude.
And that's a major part of, especially in like CS:GO and
Yeah,
but like it's a much bigger share of the pie in TF2 because we don't have like this what do you call it, intra round economies like CS:GO does, or Dota of course just has like a perpetual economy.
Yep. Which is very interesting.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, just talking to someone.
That's right.
But you get the idea. So I don't know why we talk about that. I forget. But yeah, the point being,
I said the game just gets like sloppier as it goes on. I mean, I know it's PUG, but like in general.
yeah, yeah, that's probably true for TF2, just because like nothing is changing in terms of like economies or nothing is like changing once the round resets, right? Other than how the players are behaving and acting and stuff, and what they're doing.
Something I noticed in TF2 as well is like after the shit round that I feel like the next round could be make the break in like that silence period before the game starts and the rollout starts.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because for the same reason, like people can ruin pugs and shit if they just fuck around.
Yes.
It only takes like one troll to ruin it.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's probably about it.
Yeah, nothing more, I feel. The other one I think is probably like maybe worth skimming over, just like how that map in general works. That one was way more clanny, everyone's very tired, but like still I think it wouldn't be too bad to understand how that map works and just early bit. I think map 2 was process.
Sorry, did you want to talk over process?
No, we'll talk over both if that's right. Like the other demo looks process, I mean.
I probably won't go over another demo with you.
Oh, that's right too.
But
We'll go over this map then.
Well, Scout's pretty forgiving because like you don't really need to master the maps too much compared to the other classes. You can usually kind of just apply a generalized philosophy for a lot of it.
Yep.
The general rule is you crouch, take shortest path. I like to jump. I like to shoot stickies while jumping over them, see stuff, and then from there it's kind of dependent on how your team's usually moving, like if you're going right or left.
Yeah.
If it's a right hand side mid, usually my first move is doing this.
Right, yeah.
And I like this because
Sight lines, you can back off from splash, health pack, close to medic.
Yeah, it's pretty safe. And if a demo does shoot you, it's very easy to like duck off the side of it.
Yeah.
And I'm an aggressive scout, so I like rushing people. The general rule is be in a spot where you can contribute while you're fairly safe, while you can see stuff, while you can keep tabs on the enemy soldier. In particular, if you know they're
I'll probably grow into an extremely aggressive scout.
Well, I'm probably the most aggressive to the point where it's detrimental. Honestly, I throw advantages. I don't know. Specifics of these maps, they can get a bit like complicated, I suppose, but situationally. But you'll get an idea from them just by fucking around,
just by playing more. I'm trying to play as many pugs as I can.
Typically, when you're pushing, it's going to be through either here, this way, or maybe through cafe. Especially with advantages.
So that's Valley, the way you're looking right now. That's Valley over there.
Valley,
or
flowers.
Okay,
because
Valley.
this is a flower shop.
Right. So that would be flowers, and then the other place would be
Yeah,
gardens.
true. It's usually interchangeable. I guess this is kind of more valley, and this is kind of more flowers.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's probably not a whole lot, because the
No,
thing about
not much
TF2,
more.
it's like very like what you kind of do is very like specific due to the variations and shit a lot of the time.
Yeah.
But like in general, all I need to tell you as a pocket scout is the things we already talked about, like position,
Yeah.
looking out for targets, taking a good position, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
If you want to learn it, if you want to learn what you should just do is just play the maps. I think for now.
Yeah, that's what I feel. And I just kind of pick up calls from like hearing people.
Yeah, definitely become familiar with the terminology of them.
Yeah, so I know where they are. And like the glossary tip and reading that.
Yeah, if I were to go into process now, like I'd probably be telling you the same thing. Like
Yeah, that's what I mean.
And I wouldn't really want to be telling you specific things to be doing because
Yeah, it's all in a box.
Yeah, it's too vacuumized. I think that's just like the problem that a lot of players do a lot of coaches do with fucking players is they just tell them to do things in
Yeah,
situations.
just teaching in general. They do the homework for them, like you said.
Yeah, you want to like make sure players understand what's going on.
Yeah, and how to learn further, be self-sufficient with their learning.
Yeah, I could just jump into a demo and tell you do this here, but that you won't necessarily have
Understand
any idea
why.
Yeah, that's the most important thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But for maps, you can on Pocket Scout just apply general like basic ideas. Like usually, you can take your time, you can take good positions, you can.
Yeah.
You're very like fucking privileged as a Pocket Scout a lot of the time.
You get lots of resources and shit too.
Yeah, it's probably the most powerful class, combat class.
It definitely feels like the one position.
Yeah, pretty much, honestly. Maybe mid, but yeah, probably not a whole lot more to talk about in that regard.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty much like I think I've passed the basic stage of like TF2. I think I understand all the basics now, pretty much.
Oh, you'd be surprised. I'm still learning tons of shit.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Just keep playing, bro. And just keep like interested in it and focused, and you'll find out new shit. I know this game is like remarkably simple on its base level, but it's got a tremendous amount of
the nuance
depth.
goes really deep.
Yeah, and I mean that's why it's such a timeless game, because like chess, for instance, it's so simple mechanically, but it just has all this depth to it, which is generated by these little intricacies and complications.
Yeah, I was talking to my friend about like a lot last night actually, because we were playing Melee, and like Melee's like one of those games as well.
Similar, yeah, exactly.
Also, just high tactile feedback games. Like you put in, because I was telling him like, I did some grinding this week, played some pugs, and I felt much better than I did 2 weeks ago. And then I'm like, these games are great. You put in the work, and then it comes back to you.
Yeah, true. It's very satisfying in that sort of way. Like you can get pretty like palpable sort of results.
Yes, exactly.
And also, it's just like the mechanics of it are just like very fucking, what's the word? Just satisfying and very.
Yeah, the sounds too.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the Overwatch sounds. Like there's a lot of swishes and Valve is pretty good with sounds though. But, like Overwatch sounds, like a lot of swishes and flicks and stuff. Like I can hear every single sound in TF2 and like relate it to something.
Yeah, Valve have the best sound design, but the thing about TF2 is they try to make like all the combat and like from the guns to the movement feel very like fucking meaty and like
yes, bass,
real and like
crunches and shit.
Yeah,
pain sounds too.
Yeah, and not just the sound, but also just like the general like mechanics of the weapons and the movement feels very like grounded and like solid and consistent. Yeah,
which juxtaposes as well the cartoony art style, the way the characters are, the movement too.
Well, yeah, that's probably enough for now.
Easy.
Oh, yeah, okay. Alright. GG.